97.3 City FM. Channel 1 Television, relevant radio always. And Channel 1 TV broadcasting from Tesano in Accra. In less than 24 hours, the New Patriotic Party, the largest political party after the party in power, will be going to the delegates, asking them to approve or disapprove a number of things. It's a special delegates conference of the New Patriotic Party happening at the sports stadium at the University of Ghana, Legon, on Saturday. On 97.3 City FM, Channel 1 TV, and our website citynewsroom.com and channel1tv.com. We'll be bringing you exclusive and comprehensive coverage of everything you need to know. We are deploying on-air persons, online persons, and on-TV persons. From 6 o'clock tomorrow until all the resolutions are adopted or otherwise, trust us to bring you that coverage. I am Umaru. Sanda Amadu will be in the studio to bring you the broadcast tomorrow. And I'm doing this alongside a team from 97.3 City FM and Channel 1 TV. Our legal affairs correspondent would be on the ground because a lot of the matters that they'll be dealing with will have to do with legal issues. The legal committee of the party is leading the charge. Hansen Ajiman, hello, welcome.
Thank you, Sanda.
Let me also introduce Charles Osukumi. He is a roving correspondent. He covers the court, covers the legislature. Have you done the executive yet? Have you gone to Jubilee House yet?
No, I haven't.
Akosia Otri, beware. That's Charles Osukumi, anchor of the Channel 1 newsroom and also covering a lot of our political issues for us. Gentlemen, you're welcome.
Thank you.
How are we looking tomorrow?
Well, so far so good. I mean, on our part, preparations are far advanced. The team is prepared. I mean, this is the biggest political activity after the election, the inauguration, and the swearing in of the president and parliament as well. And particularly for the NPP, since it lost in that election, performing poorly, this is the first time it is having that kind of number gathering at a particular point. We are told over 6,000 delegates, and in all, over 8,000 people are accredited to participate in this delegates conference.
It will be a massive crowd. You have been going to the center. When was the last time you went there? Which of you was the most recent to you went there? Okay, so what is the venue? Is a sports stadium?
Yes, so the venue is a sports stadium.
How is the venue looking like?
As of this morning, they had placed banners of key officials of the party or personalities of the party. The colors of the party have been used to brand various parts of the stadium. We are told that seating arrangements are being made. The stadium is being arranged according to regions, and so delegates from each region will sit in a particular venue, and then the VIP portion has been left for dignitaries. They are expecting close to about 800 dignitaries and all. And so I must say also on that part, at least what we've seen, the party appears to be ready for tomorrow. Arrival will be today. The party is taking care of accommodation for delegates who are coming in. And so what we've heard from the party suggests that they are ready.
I'll come to talk about nitty-gritty. Charles, how big a deal is this gathering for the New Patriotic Party, a party that suffered a crushing defeat at the last election?
Well, Sanda, for the NPP, this represents a massive opportunity to convene as a family, not for election purposes, but after everything that's happened since December 2024, it represents an opportunity for the NPP. For me, I say to recapture the soul of the party. I mean, the NPP, since its inception, if we talk about the UGCC, UP, that tradition, what made that tradition attractive to middle class young people I think for some time, the NPP, those ideals have been lost. And even if you look at their theme for this conference, it goes to suggest that the party itself knows that it has moved a bit away from these ideals that made the NPP a great tradition. It's still a great tradition, but if you look at what's happened from the election, now we all understand that it has driven away from those ideals. So it's an opportunity for them to come together as a family and begin to make changes to the party's constitution, to the structures, and rebuild this party once again. And Hansen is talking about 6,000 people coming together with all these dignitaries. For some time, there's been too many cracks, too many divisions, too much conflict. They can't seem to catch a break, and this just gives them an opportunity to calm down. Everybody calms down. Let's start from the very scratch. What can we do to make the great NPP tradition, UP tradition, what it is supposed to be? A formidable opposition, a party of gentlemen. I mean, growing up, I grew up in Ekropom, the birthplace of Professor Dubois. And I remember that the older people, they liked Rawlings, but you know, the grandmothers, they like Rawlings for his personality. And then one of my aunties would say, So, but, and those people were aligned to the UP tradition. So, because, you know, they like the NPP for certain values, party of gentlemen, intellectuals. You know, once you move away from that and you say, oh, but the politics has changed, we can all do booga booga politics. That is not the NPP. And I think that is the soul of the party that's lost. And tomorrow represents an opportunity, like I said, for them to recapture some of these ideals going forward.
The first time I covered an NPP conference was in 2009, at the time as an intern with Sanda Radio. I remember in Ashaiman. The theme was reflect, rebuild, and recapture. Those were the 3 hours that they displayed at the La Trade Fair, I remember. This time around, to their theme is similar to that, isn't it?
Yeah,
Nancy?
so
something
this time
around reflecting, rebuilding, and recapturing.
It's rebuilding together with our values.
Okay, so, but they don't want to recapture. I mean, 2009, so that was, again, a time that the party lost an election as a sitting party in 2008, and then 2009, they went into that conference, and they thought that they had to work and rebuild themselves. Are the issues similar now, or you think the issues are worse off now than they were in that time when they lost the last time?
I think you need to look at it from context. In 2008, the NPP had won and had lost an election after it went to a runoff. In 2024, the NPP had lost an election that any keen observer of the political space could come to a conclusion that it had lost that election just some few hours after results were declared and announced at the polling station, even before collation could be done.
They were beaten flat out.
Simply. And so in 2024, the party cannot be in a haste, even though in their commentary they think that in 2028 there's a chance for them to win, largely because, of course, in the with regard to our current constitutional dispensation, Muhammad is one term, he cannot contest. The NDC do not have an option but to bring a new candidate, and they think that they stand a greater chance of winning in 2028. But deep down, they know that the cracks are deeper, and that if they would have to mend these cracks before they even think about recapturing power. And so in their official engagements and being true to themselves, they cannot say reflect, reorganize, and recapture.
It's too early to think of
recapturing. It's too early. You need to start to rebuild. And if you look at the reforms that they are proposing, for which over 50 motions have been coined out of these reforms for approval tomorrow, you get the understanding that there's a sense within the party that indeed they need to move away from how they used to do things.
Let me bring it, Charles. So if you are focusing on rebuilding, should you not just focus on that? Why would you be thinking of electing a flag bearer when you know that fundamental issues are there that have to be dealt with. I don't know what you think. Would you rather the NPP, if you are truly building, fix everything from the base, or you can, because so there's a school of thought that choose a flag bearer who would guide the party to do that. Another view is that no, choose the base, let the base choose a leader. I don't know. The rebuilding process, would you say there's a better route they could have gone, or this for you makes sense?
You know, the argument for those who have suggested that do the flag bearer election later is that this crop of national executives, executives who have left the party into this monumental defeat in the 2024 elections, there has to be a vote on them before they organize the flag bearership election, because as it stands, January next year, it is these same executives who oversaw the defeat of the NPP in 2024 that would organize that 2026 flag bearer election. Now, one would ask, what is the vote on these people? Do they have the confidence of the base of the party to be able to go on and organize that election? And so I side with those who thought that let's hold on with the flag bearer election. Let's clean up the very executives. Let's clean up the national executives, national offices. Let's do that first.
House cleaning.
Yes, and then later we can think about who leads the party into the 2028. But in the wisdom of the party, the majority carries the vote. I mean, this is the democracy. Minority will have their say, but the majority will have their way, and that is what has happened with the NPP. So
let me bring in Sami Wiafi. Sami Wiafi covered the NPP for 8 years when he was in office, covering specifically Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo's presidency. Sami, you're welcome. Now,
thank you, Umaru. Good afternoon. Good afternoon to colleagues.
What is happening tomorrow? There's almost like a done deal. A decision has been made that the NPP is going to choose a flag bearer before everything else. Is that settled, or still we should? That can be shut down.
It's still going to be, and I'm reliably informed that
it
that
cannot
will
be shut down.
It cannot be. It won't be part of the agenda. It's just going to be the motions, as other colleagues have said. But that particular specific one, the National Council has taken a decision on it already. And per the NPP Constitution, National Council is the second highest decision-making body of the party.
After who?
After conference.
Yes, so why don't they put it to conference?
So council can take a decision on behalf of conference.
Because I've spoken to people like, was a gentleman who's seeking to be General Secretary,
Eugene
Boache, and he has said that, no, go to conference and let conference adopt.
Okay,
let me bring a hand.
Okay.
Yes.
So Sanda, you get some of these arguments because the NPP is a conservative party. And for conservatives, they like to do their things in a certain way. And deviation from how it is done would always raise red flags. But the trick here is that the party's constitution says the National Council sets date for the presidential election. It doesn't give you when that date should be, or in what manner the election ought to be. And so the practice has been that you build up. You do polling station, you go to a constituency, you do regional, you do national. Then after that, you even do parliamentary, and then you do presidential. And so when you look at it legally from the constitution of the party, it has not done anything wrong. This is the National Council. But of course, because by convention it had been doing it in a particular way, you would get some of these reactions. Okay. But what is certain is that there won't be a motion on that matter.
Sami, but would it be an elephant in the room tomorrow where, even though it may not be a subject of debate or discussion, should we expect some reaction from either key members of the party or the base on this bottom?
No, I don't expect any reaction, because they were given opportunity to table their proposal for possible constitutional amendment. And majority, we speak to the Frank Davis committee, majority of the proposals, presented to them were all pushing for the early election of a flag bearer, because they believe that is what brings a lot of disunity within the NPP. And I heard my colleague Charles, disagree with that, and I also want to disagree with him on that. In time past, anytime you had confusion, disunity within the NPP, it's always been the flag bearer election. There's nowhere constituency election or regional election or national election for national office has brought so much disunity within the NPP. And it started in 2007, the famous Legon 17 aspirants, and then he came in, the disunity, and so the party has always identified the flag bearer election as the most critical part of the party's restructuring. and that is what has always brought this unity within the party. So the party is seeking to cure that mischief. And how do you cure it? Elect a flag bearer first. A lot of people make argument that the NPP looks disunited,
leaderless.
Yes, because there's no leader in the NPP. In time past, Akufo-Addo was assumed the leader, and he exhibited leadership traits. But currently, there's no leader, and so many people believe that if the NPP should have a leader now, certain things happening within the NPP will come to an end. They may have an opposition leader who may want to stand up to the president. If the president does something, uncomfortable, the party will have an arrowhead who may tell the president or whoever it is. And they also believe that if the party should have a leader with the election of a flag bearer, recent arrest and raid and the rest which is going on may not take place because the party now has a firm leader. And then they can rally around that leader to build the party. And so those who make the argument, I side with them, that elect a flag bearer first and then think about the other elections which are supposed to follow.
So you agree, Charles? You agree?
Well, there's an interesting motion that either affirms or counters the position.
Okay.
So the NPP technically doesn't have a leader like you have the NDC constitution state that the national chairman is a leader of the party. When the party is in government, usually is the president when it comes to the NPP. That becomes the de facto leader. When it's in opposition and it has a strong presidential candidate, that presidential candidate becomes a de facto leader. But you don't have like an identifiable leader within the party. I'm told by sources that there'll be a motion to make the national chairman the leader of the party
at all times,
whether in opposition or in government.
The chairman
of the party.
Okay, hold on a second, Charles. Let me bring you in. You have a party in power, and you are making the chairman the leader of the party. We've seen the era of Akufo-Addo. We've seen how powerful he was in the party. I don't know what you think of this motion where you're going to suddenly say that even when the party is in power, there's a certain leader at Asylum down who is in charge. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, but why would they want to do that? I mean,
because they want to draw a clear distinction between government and party.
But it won't happen.
It won't happen.
But whether we like it or not, the president
in power
is a stronger personality when it comes to
when it comes to government, but not the party.
But for the current leadership of the party, you realize that the NPP has always had strong personalities when it comes to the leaders of the party.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately,
when you mean leader, you're talking about chairman.
The chairman. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, per the leadership style, not to say that Intim is not a good leader, but his style of leadership at this moment is not one that could stand neck to neck when it comes to the other, for instance, the presidential candidate,
okay, so
or even the president. Just a minute. Of course, he had been a first vice chair as far back as 2000s, but his personality doesn't rise up to that level. And I think that when you speak to party faithfuls, they tell you that is one thing they seem to have regretted.
And he's currently not even well.
He's currently not doing well. Remember when he was going for the election? What was the
Intimabre?
That was it. That was the Silo campaign, Intimabre, because since 2004 he had consistently wanted to be. And at that point in time, and so you get the point why Boache Jakun will go to a program in the Ashanti region. He has the idea of contesting for flag bearer, but the chairman will say, "Come and contest as national chairman." Because I'm thinking that when the party gets to that level, they will be looking for a strong personality to be national chairman. That certainty of a leader of a party. I mean, the NDC has the national chairman as a leader of the party. It has a president, but the national chairman is the leader of the party.
But what if the national chairman doesn't have?
Let me hear Charles.
What if the national chairman doesn't have a personality of, say, an Asiodin Ketia, and the president is Akufo-Addo, who has this very strong personality? Chairman in team as chairman. Let's just say that, maybe in the last year or so, the NPP had this structure that the chairman of the party was the leader of the party. You put chairman in team side by side Akufo-Addo, and you're saying that chairman in team is the leader of the party. No, he's not. He doesn't have that personality that Akufo-Addo has. Akufo-Addo would be the de facto chairman of the leader of the NPP, whether it is in the constitution or not.
So the view is that the motion could be adopted that let's make the chairman leader, but so it would only be de jure, it will not be de facto, and that really is.
And it would depend how the party will also respect the chairman in terms of the personality. NPP had strong chairpersons in time past. What do I say?
When Jake was chairman of the party, between Jake and Akufo-Addo, who was the leader of the party?
At that time I think it was Kufuor.
No, I'm talking about when Jake was chairman, Akufo-Addo
wasn't the flag bearer. Yes.
But still, it was almost like Akufo-Addo was above.
Everything running around Jake at that time.
But you could say the influence of Jake at that time.
Of Jake. When Kufuor was president, we had on those sides. Haruna in the rest. You could still feel, the presence of the national chairman. And it's driven by personality, as Charles said. It's driven by personality. If a person is a strong personality, has the presence is there.
So this is an intimate problem. Is that what you guys are saying?
I think so.
Charles, you think that it's an intimate problem?
But why isn't the chairman leader of the party when they're in opposition, and when they're in government, the president is the leader?
Like the NDC does.
No, so it creates a vacuum. When you make because the flag bearer who becomes the president, ultimately by his position, the level of support that person has more political capital than whoever is chairman.
Right.
Adding that confusion again would in a way limit the actions of the chairman. I think that is only appropriate to say that the national chairman is chairman. He acts as so where he is able to. But when they are in power, and if the president is able to give a proper direction and acting in chairman, even though the chairman exists as leader, even though the chairman exists, I mean, it all goes to the advantage of the party.
Let's move forward. So tomorrow the party convenes at the stadium at Legon. You said there are 50 motions that are going to be, and again, Sami and Charles, I want you, Hansen, to list for me the key ones that will be put together. But Sami and Charles, we've covered conferences. These things, when the person comes and reads and say, as many as I hear say aye, and they shout, look, conferences vuvuzela. I'm not sure they even hear what is this really truly a democratic thing? Because vuvuzela is blowing and the general secretary is standing somewhere reading, or the chairman, whoever is reading. Are you sure that the people really hear these things and adopt them?
Before they meet, they've all been whipping line.
Yeah.
And I expect you to challenge me.
We've covered parliament. We go to parliament. Sometimes the nose are even more louder than the eyes. But the speaker will say the eyes have it.
Well, yesterday I asked Joseph Oseus, who is the chairperson of the planning committee, that what happens if the person presiding says, I hear yeah, but somebody objects and says, I think that no has it. He said, well, usually what happens is that all of them would have agreed on these motions, and
so it's formality. But is there a way to formally protest? Can I object
from my engagement with the chair of the planning committee? There's no avenue.
So tomorrow there's just a party, it's just a celebration. Talk to me about a few of the motions before we go.
Yeah, so 3 documents mixed up. The OK committee report. Alexander Penyomakin in 2019 also did some reforms, and then proposals were received from the rank and file.
Well, those are the 3 things you'll be working with.
The 3 things that brought up the proposals, and then they were put together into over 50 motions. One of them is that at the polling station level, they are going to increase the number of executives from 5 to 7. So they'll be adding 2. That is the communication and then the electoral affairs. At the electoral area level, it has 1 coordinator now. What they are going to do is to say that form an executive committee, so an electoral area executive committee of 5 officers each. Then at the constituency level, there's going to be a decoupling of a motion to decouple the research unit and the electoral affairs unit. Currently, the 2 are together. And
so Gary Nimako's
yes, so at all levels they are going to decouple. Currently Gary Nimako is Director of Research and Elections for the NPP.
Take away one from him.
So they are going to take away one from him. In addition to this, at the constituency level, there's going to be a PWD coordinator. That's persons with disability coordinator. At the regional level, in addition to what I've said already, there's going to be a legal affairs coordinator. And then at the national level, there's going to be a PWD director. And aside these issues, there are going to be motions for some former officers of the party to be able to vote in the presidential elections. So former constituency executives, former executives across all levels, and then the former appointees, MMDCs, former ministers, deputy ministers, former parliamentary candidates, and former MPs to be able to vote in the presidential primaries. There are some other key motions like scrapping the super delegates system.
Oh, okay. They want to scrap it.
Yeah, they want to scrap it, and they want to have the biennial delegates conference. So now it's an annual delegates conference, but they want to do it once every 2 years. And then the
opposition scan you. Continue.
Is it a reason not to cut it? Because party Mitika. That is why they will always rely on the presidency for cash to run such activities when the party is in power.
So when they're in power, do it once every year.
This kind of do 2 years.
2 years. Okay.
So, and then one thing that is going to be controversial tomorrow is to define who a youth is.
Oh,
and they want to limit the age at 35.
Explain.
Sanda, so now currently per the party's constitution, anybody who's a youth is 40 years and below.
If you are 40 years, the youth organizer thing.
Yeah, youth organizer to be able to identify yourself as a youth within a party.
40 and below.
40 and below. And they want to make it 35 and below.
This is discrimination.
Are you a youth?
This is a discrimination.
And for that motion, I understand there's stiff opposition, and that may not pass.
But you see, that's my difficult. How would you say that will not pass?
That will not pass.
How does it not pass?
But then the other ones, we are assured that all of them is going to pass.
Charles, how would
that
this
is
not
going to be the challenge?
How would this not pass when the man who reads it says, "I have heard that they have supported"? It will happen.
But from what they've told us, usually when they don't agree, you get.
They would have known. They would have known even before.
And then I'm sure they know out of the over 50
which
motions, which one will pass and
isn't.
which one will not pass. And usually some of these, you don't want to bring motions
that
will
you know what
almost
we
pass.
should do? We should bring Musa Dankwa to the place tomorrow to do a poll. Or possibly do a poll before. They should have given this to Musa to do a poll for them before.
They have issues.
How old are you?
Sanda, before I think we
Yes,
said Gary Nimako is the
Evans.
director.
Evans
Nimako.
Yes. And so for all these former officers that I've talked about, it goes as far back as 1996. So former MPs from 1996, former executives from 1990.
They all vote.
All of them will vote once you are alive and you are still a card-bearing member of the NPP. So these are some of the key reforms that the party will be voting on tomorrow.
Let me pick your views before we go. So tomorrow, what should our viewers and listeners expect, Charles?
Oh, the best in coverage. We've always been one of the best in the business when it comes to these political activities. We're putting our best foot forward. We're starting as early as 7 a.m. We'll be on the grounds to provide our listeners and viewers the best they can ever get. Analysis, interviews, everything. Expect that tomorrow we'll be on top of our jobs.
Sami, former President Akufo-Addo will be there?
No, I understand he's out of town. He's in the UK now.
It will be the first time we would have seen him at an NPP event to see whether the people will say, yeah, or they'll say, oh.
And I'm told former President Akufo may also not be around.
But Dr. Bawumia will be there.
Bawumia will be around.
Oh, Akufo-Addo should have been there so that we see him walk, and then we'll see I wanted to see the reaction of the party to his presence at a gathering like that. It would have been crucial. It would have been really, really crucial to hear from him.
Yeah.
So Hansen, you want to say something?
The party says it's prohibiting campaign for the various candidates, and so it'll be interesting to see how the various camp will compose.
But we've seen. So on the way to work today, I saw a banner of former Education Minister Dichum at Tetakwashi interchange, welcoming the delegates.
That
is far away from conference ground.
If you are walking, it's 10 minutes. If you are driving, it's 10 minutes. I'm not sure how far that is. Anyway, So our listeners on 97.3 CTFM, our viewers on Channel 1 television, and also our followers on social media, CTFM, Channel 1, our YouTube channel, and our website, citynewsroom.com and channel1tv.com. Expect nothing but the best of coverage. Tomorrow, we'll be bringing you that comprehensive coverage from the University of Ghana, where the New Patriotic Party is holding a conference to adopt or disapprove a number of motions that are being put forward. About 6,000 people will be converging on the ground for that work. The party says they should be done by 4 p.m. We will be on air till they're done and bring you every angle to that story. Thank you so much, my panelists in studio, Charles Owuzukumi, Hansen Najima, and Sami Wiafi. I am Umaru Sanda Amadu, and as always, produced by Beverly London, the Iron Lady, behind the screens. Powerful. If you see her, Kukuruwa, powerful. There's this ever proverb that says, Elekwi Dogao is shot by wear metal gown or metal. That thing they wear, metal kambu. Thank you so much. It's been great coming your way. And keep following us on our YouTube channel, Channel 1 TV and CTFM. Have a good day.